Hello and welcome again to the Herbal Mana podcast. And at Herbal Mana, we deal with all sorts of chronic pain issues. Our tagline is hurt less, live more. And today, our guest is going to dig into some things that are pretty interesting on the emotional side of healing and pain. Today, we have Gerri Varas, and she has an amazing background. Partly because she's gone through a little bit like what I've gone through with injury, normal allopathic medicine, prescription drugs, and then a real need to heal, a real need to get things figured out, which led her into yoga and many other awesome things. So welcome, Gerri.
Thank you, Todd. It's truly an honor to be able to share my story, right? If it can help someone, because we've all been there in that chronic pain. Maybe someone who's watching now is in that chronic pain and wanting to find answers and understanding about what's happening to their body and how to deal with the emotional part of that chronic pain. It really beats you up. For me, that's what happened. I just felt myself like I was so beat up, I couldn't move my body without crying. I mean, honestly, I have to share this because, I had to go to the bathroom. I had to crawl to the bathroom. That was the severity of my
So
pain.
what was your injury and how did it happen? And what was the situation in life when that happened?
All right, I will tell you. So I had just moved to Arizona from Connecticut, again, raising my young family, had a very young family. So I had like 3 youngsters, twins, and a little brother. They were all under the age of 3. So you can imagine. And I sneezed one day and I fell. And that was it. I sneezed. I sneezed one day. And I fell. And that began, right? So that began going to see doctors, chiropractors, and every doctor told me, like, you need surgery. You'll never be the same again. I was 40 years old. So they were telling me my spine was 60 years old. And it was a lot of negativity coming my way. And there's something that happened inside of me, this iron will, I was convinced that I was going to heal myself. And I was going to find a way. But the drugs that they gave me, I didn't want to take because it doesn't help. It just
those drugs are awesome at masking what's going on, but not so hot when it comes to healing what's going on.
I agree with you 100%. I really didn't want to take them. I think I took them in desperate moments when you're in a puddle of tears and, you just don't have anything else and you're just looking to get some relief. So I went through that for about 3 months and I went to visit my sister-in-law and she's a yoga teacher. And so she was kind of guiding me, maybe you should do this and you should do that and maybe find a studio or somewhere and just do a yin class or a restorative class. And so I thought, okay. And I went to go visit her and there was this massage therapist that I saw while I was there. And I didn't know it at the time, but he was an energy worker. And I didn't know, and he did pressure points and he was so careful and gentle. And he said to me before he left, he was like, you have this issue on the left side. This is your feminine side. I never heard this in my life.
And this is a guy telling you this?
Yes.
Guys can actually be in touch with this? I didn't know that was possible. No, that's awesome. It's awesome.
No, it was awesome. But at the time I was like, feminine side, and he's like, do you have your mother issues? And I'm like, wait a minute. How do you know that? And he's like, well, if you don't solve that issue, you'll always have this pain. I don't know, Todd, that lit a fire under my feet. And I was determined. Never wanted to have that pain again. You understand? And so someone's telling me if I fix my relationship with my mother, then my back will get better. Well, okay, let's go do it. And so then that was a connection where emotions came in. That's the first time, right? My emotions were having an effect on my body. My relationships that I was having in the world were having an effect. everything is stored. You know this. Everything is stored in the body, and especially here in the lower back on that feminine side. This is where that root chakra is. So, of course, the mother wound is there, right? Because it's in the root. And who is the root of your life is your mother. So that was my quest to heal with my mother, which I have to say I have done. And she's 92 and thriving, and she's my best friend. And
oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's kind of funny that it's a massage therapist, because I had something similar.
Oh, yeah.
10 years ago, I went through, in the same year, 2 knee replacements and a back surgery. And then the following year, I started working with a massage therapist, Maria Swastiki, and she was going to do deep tissue. She was tough. She was a power lifter as a hobby, and a massage therapist. And before our first session, she said, if we start digging, especially digging into these scar areas and the areas where I'd gummed up the fascia and just made a mess, she said, you need to buckle up a little. It could get a little emotional.
Oh, man.
And I thought, oh, that's cute. Probably tell this to all your women clients. That's cute. And dang, she was right. And we went through quite a few sessions where it just took time to physically go through the therapy and emotionally go through the release. I did not understand until then that they were intertwined.
Wow.
Completely intertwined.
Amazing, Todd. Wasn't it worth it?
That's great. What's that?
Wasn't it worth it?
Yes, absolutely worth it.
We spend our life holding. We just spend our life holding on, What are we holding on? What are we holding on to? This resentment and this anger and this disappointment. And, with yoga, oh my gosh. I mean, I started as a student, then it evolved into me being a teacher, which, I think like the universe conspires with me. I'm in yoga class. I'm a student. I'm doing like a twisted lunge, and I lift my hand and I see a poster that says, be a yoga teacher. And that I was like, well, why not? Let's go. Let's see what happens, and being a teacher is where I learned more of the philosophies of yoga, and they just felt right and they fit into my life. I'm really grateful for yoga. I really am. And I am maybe very obnoxious because I want to help everybody. So,
Great. That's awesome. I like that kind of obnoxious, if that really is obnoxious. That's
well, I say it is, but it's probably not, right? But no, you're always your worst critic. But, I just want to help people, and I have a lot of tricks. So when I do yoga and I teach yoga, it's always with the intention that you can take this home. Yeah. So all these poses that I'm showing you, and I really specialize in some really good restorative classes because I had to do it for myself. So that's how I started really getting over the physical pain, right? I had some procedure, they put shot in my back, a big shot this long, and it was all scary, right? But it didn't give me my mobility or my flexibility. It decreased maybe some inflammation in the lower spine. I had a sciatic nerve kind of thing that ran down my left leg. So I started to incorporate some restorative practices, and that was kind of it really helped to nurture and give kindness to my body, because we're so hard on our bodies. We're also critical of ourselves. We're always so harsh on ourselves. I know I'm not the only one. We're very harsh on ourselves. So a restorative practice is someone is in pain and they can get themselves to a restorative class. That's the best thing, because that's your way of giving yourself some love, some grace, Stop beating yourself up so much.
An interesting yoga session, my first real yoga session. We were on vacation. We had all our kids together. It's near Park City, Utah. We were at a sort of resort place, and one of my daughters wanted to sign us up for yoga. Yoga instructor showed up. Did you ever see the movie City Slickers?
Yeah.
Curly walked in the door. You look just like Curly, just like Jack Palance from City Slickers. And I had no idea what to expect. We got an hour, maybe hour and a half of yoga.
Wow.
And it was wonderful physically and amazing spiritually and emotionally. it did a lot more than just stretch me out. It was something. I did not expect that. Not from Curly. Man, in the movie, he's the man.
Curly.
It was amazing to see how much, or to experience how much better I felt, not just physically, but much lighter emotionally after listening to Curly for an hour or so. Walked us through some self-talk, a little bit of guided meditation, and it was amazing. It's not what I expected.
It never is.
I didn't expect some stretching. That's what I was in there for. I just wanted some stretching.
And I love that. I love when new students come in and they don't know what to expect. Like, it's very strange. You can tell their face, their body language. I'm picking up. I'm empathic, so I'm picking up on everything. I'm empathic and Italian.
All right.
Like double dose of empathy, right? And they come in and you could tell, right? And it's always nice to see at the end of the practice how happy they are, how happy that they came in, It's like I had a small studio space, so it was very intimate. It was very boutique yoga space, and I loved it. I wouldn't have changed it for the world, the size of it, because it kept me like very connected to my community. But I just loved the newbies when they came in. I could tell that they were a little scared, and I'm a big personality, and it could be a lot. But after the class, they always show up so happy.
Great.
Yeah.
So my only experience with yoga before that session with Curly was P90X, doing a little yoga with P90X. That was not a great place for me to start. That was just grueling, not enjoyable, nothing spiritual, nothing emotional, just hardcore yoga stretch, which was good. I needed it, but not quite the same thing.
Not the same. It's
not
like
nearly as healing.
Little sprinkle of that spirituality on those poses, and you just feel it. It's like, I can remember the first time I did a pigeon pose, and my sciatic was just, would act up. And so as I would be recovering, of course, doing yoga, restorative, having a positive mindset and reprogramming how I talk to myself as well in that. But I would do this pigeon pose, and I thought to myself, as I just like surrendered myself to the stretch, like, where have you been all my life? Why haven't I known about you before? It was that kind of a release. It's a big hip stretch. So, you carry a lot of emotions in the hips. So the pigeon pose is just like, again, it is the medicine. It's the only medicine you need is yoga, as far as I'm concerned. I think yoga can cure any ailment, really.
What was the impact on your back between yoga and the work with your relationship with your mother? How's your back doing? Did it progress? Did it get better?
I just felt this fire in me. It was like when I was a little girl, I felt like so confident. I felt like I could do anything, And along the way, I guess that passion dissipates, subsides, it goes away. I don't know what happened. Life gets in the way. And at that moment, I felt like, no, I don't have a 60-year-old back. I'm strong. I can heal myself. And I was just like so determined. And to repair my relationship with my mother was probably the most important thing that I've ever done in my life. And as I got closer and closer to her, which wasn't easy, of course, right? But I thought, how can I approach this in a different way? How can I heal with her? And so what I did was I got curious about her. I started asking her about her childhood. I wanted to know who she was, how she felt, what were her dreams, were all these things that I never bothered to ask. I want to know who this human being is, right? That I blame and fight with. For what reason right now, I can't even tell you. But as I did that, I felt lighter. I felt better, stronger. So I don't have any pain. And if I do find that I have pain, I sit with it. Because the thing was, when you're healing a back injury, and you must have gone through this, you must have felt like frightened, no? Like you're scared. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You're thinking, why did this happen to me? that was my thing. I would cry and go, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? I thought that I was healthy. I thought that I was all these things that, you start to really play that in your mind over and over, right?
Smoke, never drank, reasonable diet. I'm thinking, yeah, God, I'm getting old. I feel like I'm 80. And it was a little frightening. That's a bit of a worry, thinking I may not be fit to play with the grandkids.
And what's the point if you can't do that? What's the point if you can't play with your grandkid? You know what I mean? It's like having this mobility is so important. And so it started to make me look at my life in quite a different way. The ability to just walk. Oh my gosh. I took that so for granted. So my world started to it felt like it was crumbling, but at the same time, it was opening. Did that happen to you? It felt like it was opening.
The world gets a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You're not in pain. You're not focused on that. And you can actually get into life a little more fully. Life gets bigger.
Yeah. And it made me appreciate, like, oh my gosh, I could walk and do all my things. And I took it for granted. So as soon as I started getting mobility back, this is where I started to reprogram my mind, I mean, I wasn't running marathons for sure, but every time I saw someone running, I'd play mind games with myself, but fun ones, oh, I'm going to go get my shoes. I'm going to put them on. I'm going to go running. I'm going to run 10 miles. I was willing my own body to recover. You have to have that in you if you want to get better. Really, you have to have this desire and this belief that you can heal yourself. Yoga can be your tool, or some other way can be your tool as well. It's like, I'm not saying this is the one. This is the one for me. Really helped me. Could be for you, but everyone's different.
Oh, it helps. Motion helps.
Yeah.
No question. Our tagline, our slogan for the company is hurt less, live more. I spent a long time pondering what we would have as our little slogan. And I think we're spot on, because you've got to hurt less emotionally, physically, spiritually. And then your world is bigger. Life is bigger.
It is, because it really does open it up, going through this. And you're always thinking, why is this happening to me? But it really was happening for me, because I had to yoga found me, right? Yoga found me. And I surrendered. I was like, there are no other options. It's this or nothing, right? So that I put all my heart into it. I let myself surrender to the practice. And I just remember getting up from the mat, so gentle, so careful, because I was being graceful with myself. I was really honoring my body for once in my life. And I remember just getting up and kind of doing one of these, turning. And that was hard for me to turn like that. I would get pain. And I turned and I felt like nothing. I didn't feel any pain. My body felt really good, It really helped me a lot.
How do you teach people? How do they find you? What's the process? I think you said you're way down in Mexico, down in the Gulf of California.
Well, I'm here in Puerto Peñasco on the Gulf of Cortez between Baja and Mexico. So we're in this little pocket. I've been here for a year, and I've been using this time to continue my healing journey and to transition. Now, I had a yoga studio. I closed it a couple of years ago. So there's been this transition, how do I still teach, right? Because this is my passion. So of course, right now I'm running a yoga retreat down here in May 16th to the 18th. I'm doing a yoga retreat. I also run day retreats here as well. And for fun, I teach some ladies that live here as well. So I do that, and that's a lot of fun. I'm doing online meditations, teaching you the mechanics of meditation, right? Like how to pay attention to the breath and bring your awareness to the breath and feeling that those visceral, the visceral sensation of the breath, right? The breath that goes up into the windpipe and down the windpipe. So you're feeling everything. Sorry for that. Sorry. and how it feels in the belly, how your belly rises and falls in the breath, and what to do with all those thoughts that come into your mind when you're meditating. They interrupt that whole thing, and how to have peace with that. So teach like a mechanics, like how to breathe, how to pay attention to the breath, because that's all it is. Just pay attention to how your breath feels. The mind's going to move in. It's going to want to distract you. But again, with gentle love and grace to yourself and to the thought, just let it dissipate if you can, right? Accept that it's there, right? But you don't have to attach to it. You don't have to like claim it as yours. Because what I learned with the meditation is that your mind just produces thoughts. That's its function. That's what it does. So, of course, it's going to keep going during a meditation. It wants to distract you. That's its job. Like, come on, like, here are some thoughts. Tell me what, let's go.
Good, because that sounds like how it works when I try to meditate. My wife, awesome at it. When I try it, oh man, thoughts are just coming. Got a deadline. I got to produce something. Got to meet somebody. Shutting that off is a little hard.
It's the
else
thought.
to focus.
And see, meditation came after I opened my studio. A friend of mine was doing a certification. Again, I thought like I knew everything at that, I don't know why. I thought, oh, what am I going to learn? I'm a yogi. I know how to breathe. And it totally like blew my mind and changed, again, my trajectory of my practice and everything. Again, the universe is conspiring with me. And in just learning those mechanics, paying attention to the breath, just pay attention to how it feels, right? It goes into your nostrils feeling cool. It comes out feeling warm. These are all sensations that you can bring your awareness to instead of hooking on to a thought that tells you, oh, you got to go grocery shopping in 15 minutes. You got to pick up those eggs. And what a useless thought. You know what I mean? You don't need it at that point. You need to quiet, right? And so, again, when we have these thoughts, we judge ourselves for the thoughts. So then you're looping, oh man, I can't meditate. It's impossible. It's too hard. Then you start bashing yourself. So in meditation, again, it's like, tells you, don't expect anything. Don't judge it. Just breathe. And that's all you have to do. So I'm doing something like that as well. Online group, little containers where I just teach people the basic mechanics, though it always turns into something spiritual with me because I really want to unite people. I really want people to believe in themselves, to see the possibilities that they have. They have so many beautiful possibilities and options to heal their bodies, their minds, and their spirits. So my classes always take on that kind of a tone because that's where I'm at.
All right. I'll do a brief digression for any of the men listening to this.
Oh, yes.
For the men to help out. This is something I thought I created this when I was getting worked on by Maria Swastiki. Power, at times, what she was doing to me was very uncomfortable. She's working on my shoulder. I found that if I thought about maybe my right foot, wiggled a little, took my thoughts consciously, really focused and moved my thoughts somewhere else besides my shoulder, my perception of pain was reduced. Now, I thought I created that. I didn't know until years later that it's been studied. It's the gateway theory of pain. Your brain can really manage and focus well on one thing, really well. So if I'm in chronic pain and I choose to meditate, and while I'm meditating, I choose to focus on my breathing, for instance, then my perception of pain in that shoulder or wherever else I'm feeling the chronic pain, that perception of the pain will reduce. So by meditating, besides getting the focus and all the other benefits, I also get pain relief because I take my thoughts somewhere else. I put them on something else. And it has a great palliative effect. It's great. So it's beyond just the spiritual, the emotional. It has physical components and they pay off quickly. I don't have to train very long to learn to get my thoughts somewhere besides that painful shoulder. I can figure that out in 20, 30 seconds, and I can start to train myself to think away, focus on something else. So this meditation thing, guys, it doesn't take days, weeks, hours, months to get a benefit. It's minutes to start getting some benefit. And then with practice, you get more.
And yes. And then it becomes something so embedded within your like every day that if you don't do it, you're off. So every day, every day I do yoga. Actually, I'm just finishing up a 130-day container that I am in tomorrow. 130 days of a Kundalini. It's a Kundalini group, and I had never, very new to Kundalini, but I like to pick and choose and I put them in my basket. So tomorrow is 130 days. I've been getting up at 5:30 in the morning and with some other ladies and doing a meditation. And it's been very powerful.
Outstanding. I noticed on Instagram you have a lot of coaching on gentle ways to do meditation and affirmations and self-talk, which are pretty simple ways to get some immediate focus, relief. And I like that about your Instagram feed. Readily accessible, very useful. Not just pretty pictures, although they're pretty pictures. There's some real substance, usable, quickly applicable. I like it.
Yes. It has to be accessible. Everything has to be accessible. And, I always kind of, when people say, I can't meditate, and I'm like, yeah, you can. And you just got to believe in yourself. You got to just do it, And of course, everyone's going to do what they want to do, right? But I know what benefit it does for me. And I really, really needed to have like a container and be in a group. And it's important to be in community when you're healing and find like-minded people. And this certainly was that. And I'm very happy that I did it. I feel like I cemented my meditation practice. And now I will always do it. I will always do it. 120 days cements it into your system or something like that, right? It's like, I don't know the rule, but 120 days, it's your habit. You're going to do it. And so that's what I'm doing. And I love it. And so now I'm going to have it as my daily practice. Another tool for healing. And, it's the mind, right? You can train your mind distracted, right? If you're suffering with your shoulder or your back or whatever, you can go into a meditation. And there is a meditation where you can go to the pain, right? And you go to the pain as you're breathing, guide people and go to that spot and give that spot. Like, what are you feeling in that spot? Are you feeling a tenderness? Does it burn? Is it cool? So we start describing the sensation, right, within the meditation. And okay, does it have a shape? Is it smooth or is it jagged, rough? What kind of texture does this pain have or this sensation? Does it have a color, right? And you're meditating and you're, again, going to that spot where it bothers you and finding things about it, like bringing your awareness deeper into it. And you find that, yeah, it does have a color and yeah, it does have a shape and yeah, it does have a texture and oh yeah, it burns, So you're like, oh, wow. And it's a way of healing and having less pain in that area.
All right. Another small digression for you guys that are listening. What Gerri's talking about is now described in science. This is just the last few years.
Oh, you felt
neuroplasticity, where you have an injury, it should heal, it should stop hurting, but it doesn't. The pain stays, even though it shouldn't. And with neuroplasticity, part of the exercise is to focus on the pain. What color is it? What shape is it? Dang, it hurts. How does it hurt? What is that feeling? And the pain will dissipate. Now, through meditation, we've known this for a very, very long time. This is not new to folks that do meditation, yoga, energy work. But in current science, this is maybe a decade old. It's pretty recent. It's kind of funny that it took that long for the science guys and the white lab coats to figure out what has been known for eons through mindfulness and meditation and just mental focus. That's just kind of interesting.
It is very interesting, and I didn't know that. So I like that I learned that. Thank you, Todd. That was very interesting.
Well, you've already known. I just gave it a name, but you've already known it for years and years and practiced it for years. And you don't even need the white lab coat.
I don't even need the white lab coat. I only needed a yoga mat, and that's it, right?
Yoga mat, away you go.
And again, that's something that I taught in my meditation classes, just like, again, just teaching the mechanics and how it works. And then that's like, just like an exercise to do, right? Something different and has lasting effects. I got to tell you, makes people look at their condition a lot different.
You do retreats, a day retreat, a 3-day retreat. If I want to take a vacation,
come down.
Why don't I just find a place to sit on a chair for 3 days? Is that not as good? Actually, that would drive me nuts, frankly. That would drive me nuts. I can't do that. What would I get by coming to the retreat? How does it work? What do people see? What do we get done?
Where I'm at, I'm in a resort, living resort. It's called Luna Blanca Resort Living. It's next to another tower that is called Encanto. They're like two sister buildings. And it's on a private beach, so you don't have like a lot of like interference from the town, it's a very nice natural setting here and lovely. And so when people come to the resort or when they come to the retreat, what they'll do is, what we'll have is, of course, it will be an all-inclusive accommodations here in my home that I have here. We will have inclusion of meals and classes and activities and plenty of free time to go kayaking. I have kayaks that you can use, and dolphins show up here all the time.
What's the date on this next one?
May 16th.
Is 16. I'm going to have to talk to my wife about this.
And
I think it sounds brilliant.
It's beautiful out here. You're not near the town. The only thing that's here is the Mayan Palace, which is just down the road, and that's it. And then it's an estuary, and it's lovely. They closed the estuary. We used to be able to go to it, but don't tell anybody. We kind of sneak in and go to it because it's so lovely and peaceful and just like no one there. It's just a lovely place. And the whole beach here is just lovely. Like I said, dolphins show up all the time. And, they're kind of like my buddies now, I go out kayaking and sometimes they show up, so that could happen. And that's amazing. And what people will get morning yoga, afternoon meditation, mindful walking, letting go ceremony that we'll do probably on the first night. Got to let it all go, right, before we can start healing. Again, family meals, provide vegetarian, Italian meals that you get to cook with me and learn, and take them home with you. Take the recipes home and
nice.
You're right, yeah. I'm trying to think, and we have a lot of amenities here. We have big pools and jacuzzis and saunas and gym. But the glory here is that beautiful sea and that beach. It's like no other.
Do I have to be experienced at yoga? Do I need to be some sort of expert before I can go and enjoy it? Or is it?
No, of course not.
All comers?
All comers, because I can adjust everything, right? I know how to teach a multi-level class. So if someone can't stand up or can't do something, needs to sit down, I can teach people that are on the mat and you're sitting down all at the same time. It's just going to look different for those people. And
Curly did for me because I've got the knee replacement, so I couldn't do everything Curly wanted me to do, and he accommodated me with my challenges, and he was great.
Yeah. We can, and I love that. I love that. I remember the first time, like, trying to teach a multi-level class, and I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this? But you find your groove, you find it, you do it, and everyone is satisfied at the end, because all you're doing is when I teach, it's just all from my heart. I just want the best for you. I want you to heal yourself. I want you to believe in yourself. And when you come to the resort, you can have add-ons to your visit here. Again, I can do Reiki for you, Reiki healing for you. And that includes, in my Reiki healing, I do sound healing as well. I have some sound bowls and, just things that make some sound.
My wife needs to meet you.
Come on.
You guys get along.
Yes.
Reiki, the sound bowls, all of that. That's awesome.
Sound bowls, very important, right? I use those in my Reiki healing, which is super important for me. And what else? Add on, you could get a massage as well if you wanted that. You could get a beachside, that would be an add-on. And then you could have a mindful horseback ride because horses come out here. There's a fellow here, I call him my horse guru. He comes here with all the horses and we can have a mindful ride.
That would be lovely. I like that. How do folks sign up? How do they find this? How do they find you?
Boy, they can find me on Instagram, YogaVita480. I'm on TikTok as Yogavita Healing, Facebook, Yogavita, or under Gerri Varas. You can DM me in all of those or visit my website, yogavitahealing.com. And what else do I have? Hold on, Todd. I have one more thing I'm forgetting. No, I think that's it.
Pretty easy to find.
Yeah. Come and see me. The dolphins are waiting for you, Todd.
Beautiful part of the world, a fun part of the world. We're actually going to go to Mexico next week, but on the Gulf side, Gulf of Mexico.
You're going on the Gulf.
Costa Maya, Cozumel, other side.
Nice. Yes, yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very curious about the rest of Mexico. It's been an experience living here, and I've been very mindful of appreciating that I'm here. It's like this is not for granted, right? And living like more intuitively. So, I used to have I have a lot of kids, I used to have to make meals for like an army every day, and so now it's more like I'm just here with my husband. And so the cooking isn't the same. And so I'm starting to be like more intuitive cooking. And that's what I want to like teach too at the retreat is like, listen to your body. What's your body craving? And some days, you're in the kitchen and I like to just play with the kitchen, like what's in the refrigerator, not like this major plan of what am I going to make? I have a potato, I have a zucchini, I have garlic. I mean, that there, I can make so many things, garlic makes everything taste good and it nourishes me. And maybe it's a connection to my culture and my ancestors, every time I pick up the garlic and I smell it, I'm like, and I throw it in the pan and that smell comes out, that beautiful fragrance comes up, and I'm just like, I just return, I return to that memory inside of me of, my mother cooking and that fragrance just going all the way up. I was on the 3rd floor because Italians are crazy. We have to have our kitchens in the cellar so we don't mess up the kitchen on the other floor. This is how my mother cooked in the cellar. But that garlic, that fragrance would reach me all the way up to my bedroom. And so when I do it, that's what it brings back to me, that sense of home, that sense of connection that the food gives me. So that's the intuitive cooking now that's coming up that I have to share that too.
Yeah, it's an important part of life. Spend a good deal of our time the eating. And actually for the chronic pain crowd, that is a pretty big deal. Not emphasized nearly enough. Not enough joy in the preparation and not enough selectivity in the preparation. Getting the right foods, the nourishing foods, the non-inflammatory foods. So that's pretty cool. You touch on that as well as part of the retreat.
And yeah, and I mean, like turmeric, this spice that we use is turmeric, Indian spice, or I guess it's Indian spice. I don't know. That's very new in my palate and what I use. I mean, it's been around my kitchen for a while, but now it just seems like it's like, pick me, throw me into the sauce. It like talks to me more and it's like telling me to use more of it. And so I just listen and I just throw it in, and I have to tell you, it makes me feel better. For sure.
Well, it is pretty potent addition to supplements. I supplement every day with it.
Yeah.
Because I've got chronic pain stuff. I've had 20 orthopedic surgeries, so I have to really manage things. Yeah. Besides doing the right things, going to the gym, meditation, self-talk and such, on the diet side, I do need to manage things. I have enough things going on that I've got to be aware I can't just stop the local McDonald's and eat whatever they're serving. That's not going to work.
I'll
Not unless I
tell
want
you.
to ramp up inflammation. That is a disaster. But very common too. A lot of people want to eat something that's convenient rather than something that's nourishing.
You know, cooking isn't that hard, Todd. Cooking is like the simplest thing. And when I think about my ancestors, they were all peasants, you know, and they didn't have, again, access to a lot, but they had gardens and they drew from their gardens, or they bartered with neighbors, and I'll give you this wine for those loaves of bread. It was like that. My family is from a small island in Italy called Ischia. Has like 6 volcanoes. It has a lot of thermal water. It's a healing place, right? But when I think about how they lived their life, but they cooked, and it wasn't hard. It's just so simple. As long as you have garlic, you're good. You could cook anything and make it taste.
That's how we grew up. Everything was cooked. We didn't run off and buy processed foods and things out of a box. That just wasn't how we did it. It's not how we do it now.
We would get disowned if we came home with McDonald's. My mother would throw us.
Once one of my teenage daughters came home from school wanting a snack, looked in the pantry. There's no food. It's stocked with all kinds of stuff. There's just ingredients. It's kind of funny.
You got to put it together.
Had to come up with something to cook because we didn't have the processed foods in a box.
Yeah. And even in that topic, Todd, like that disconnection with these processed foods, this disconnection of ourselves in the process of that food, right? We're totally disconnected. It's coming in a box. It's coming in a can. It's frozen. No judgment on people. I don't want to sound like I'm judging anyone. Okay, I'm not. But we've lost our connection to our food, and I think that's really important because when we lose the connection,
every aspect of our health. Yes, very, very important.
When we lose that connection, we lose the appreciation and the value of how that food got to you on that plate. We'll lose it, right? We don't know what it is to go cultivate land. We have no idea what that's like. My parents did that. My ancestors did that. They cultivated their land. If they didn't cultivate their land and grow and have animals and things of that nature, they would have went hungry. So the whole family life was centered around food, and they appreciated it. My mother, 92 years old, and she still says, I'm so happy. Look at this dish. It's a beautiful dish of pasta. She makes the best pasta in the world, right? She sits down. She's grateful, right? And that's what it's all about.
Growing up, I grew up about 7 or 8 miles from here on a ranch. So we got to do that. I used to think I worked pretty hard. I thought it was a rough life, but looking back, it was pretty awesome. We had a great, great childhood.
Simple life.
Driving the tractors, raising the crops, taking care of the cows, the chickens. It was great. And we had that connection that is missing for most people today.
Yeah. I mean, how can you connect with a box and a can and something that's frozen? How do you connect with that? There's no way to connect with that, right? And it's dead. You eat it, you can taste that it doesn't have life. Right? The better food, like the freshest food that you can get, that you can afford. A tomato, slice it in half, put a little salt on it, drizzle a little olive oil, eat it. There's your snack. It's delicious.
I like that.
Yeah. You can put garlic too. You could put garlic too. But if you just want a little light snack, just a little salt on it, a little olive oil, and you're ready to go. And there's your snack, Doesn't get, I think we complicated, the modern world complicated everything. Complicated the food and the healing and all of that.
Yep. Need to go back to roots. It's part of why I love what you're doing with the yoga, incorporating the Reiki, the nutrition, and then just the whole setting. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I so appreciate having this conversation with you and having the opportunity again to just humbly tell my story. And if it touches one person, wonderful. If it touches 10,000,
it will
wonderful.
resonate with people.
And that's my story. I mean,
All right. Well, I'm glad that you took time to be on. This is great. We'll post this for all of our followers. We'll share it for your followers. We do get some good feedback, good interaction,
Awesome.
and have a lot of fun. This is great. I
Listen,
appreciate it.
I'm expecting to see you here.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. That's awesome.
You're
all right.
welcome. All right.
Thanks, Gerri. Thanks for being on.
All right.
Thanks for everybody that's watching this. We'll put Gerri's contact information, the website and such down below. So you'll be able to jump on, find the retreat, find other ways to connect. She's got some great material. This is pretty cool stuff. And pain-wise, this will move the needle. So it's awesome.
And also,
all right.
One more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
And those people that are watching this that are in chronic pain, I tell you this, that you can heal yourself. You have all that you need to heal yourself, right? You can do it. I feel so bad. I can feel that there'll be people watching this who are in chronic pain, and I can really feel it. And you can heal yourself. There are solutions for you out there.
Thanks, Gerri. Okay, hang around for just a second.
Okay.